Opening statement, then questions, right?
Yeah.
Do that. Well, I'm excited. That's my opening statement. I'm ready to get going. You know, the summer and everything, it rolls around. I think when football season comes around, it gives everybody a reason to live, especially me. I get up with a little more pep in my step. So I'm excited. I'm ready to go. I believe in these guys. I believe in them wholeheartedly. And we're going to work to put a good product on the field. So with that, questions, shoot.
Shannon, I think at one of these events recently, you said you had more wide receiver depth than maybe you ever had at West Virginia. Just what kind of weapons?
Who said that? Did I say that? I need to see those transcripts. It's embarrassing. This is what I meant by that. And I actually just got, my man back there just asked me the same question. And I love the room, okay? We have depth. We don't have a whole lot of experience depth. Does that make sense? I mean, we got kids in that room that, in my opinion, are capable of great things, are capable of 100 reception years like we've had in the past. We just don't have a guy coming back from last year that has 100 receptions that's going to lead that experience in. Now, you know, we have 2 or 3 guys, you know, 2 at every position, probably 3 at some, that I feel extremely comfortable going out, you know, putting them on the field and play. And so to answer your question, I like our depth. You know, I think we got numbers. They're young depth, they're young, inexperienced depth, if that answers your question. So somebody needs to step up, bottom line.
What kind of expectation could Timmons be one of those guys, Ryan Timmons?
He definitely can be. Talented guy. You know, everybody's got a unique skill set. You know, that kid, in my opinion, is good. You got to be multiple with him. You got to be creative with that kid. You got to find ways to get him the ball and put him in space. And so you have kids that are down the field guys that are going to stretch the defense. You have guys that are good intermediate guys running routes off linebackers. And in my opinion, you got guys that you got to be creative with and get the ball in their hand. And so I think he's one of those guys that can line up at multiple positions and do multiple things. His capacity is high as far as being able to do things with probably minimal reps, which that's a, you know, you got to kind of gauge that with every kid. You know, what's their capacity? Because the one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to sit here and expand his role in such a way where the things he's doing the majority of the time he's not getting good at. And so I think he's got that capacity.
Shannon, it's been a long time around here since there was a tight end who was a threat as a pass catcher. How much do you want that to be a factor, and do you think you have the personnel to have that?
I do. I'd love it. I mean, if we can throw it down the field to him every time, I will. You know, if he's open, I like getting the open guy the ball. And so the problem with tight ends, okay, everybody asks you about tight ends. The problem with tight ends, not a lot of them can get open because defensive guys are typically more athletic than tight ends. And so if you have a guy that's athletic enough to create some space and routes, it's great. And I think we definitely have those guys. So we're going to use them. We're not going to use them every time. And so we're not going to get overly infatuated and come out in a tight end set every snap. I can promise you that. You got to be careful. You know, our depth there is not great. We have a couple guys that are good, a couple guys that are talented. The issue with that is, I mean, if you go into a game thinking that, okay, we're going to do 80% 11 personnel, what if one of those guys gets nicked up? You know, you got to have something else to do. So we're going to be multiple as far as formations and personnel guys go. But I do believe we have a couple of tight ends that can make plays down the field, which is ultimately the criteria of that guy for me. That's number one. Blocking and everything is really secondary to me because I think that's want to. That's effort. You know, I can get you lined up and block if you want to. You probably don't want to. But, I mean, you ain't going to do very good catching the ball down the field.
Is Conrad back to 100%?
He is. Yeah, he is. He feels good.
Coach Jacob Hyde, how much will he factor into the offense this season?
Certain situations. You know, we're going to use him leverage on leverage. You know, if we need, you know, he's great at what he does, he's a great kid, understands his role, and so there's going to be situations where it's a half a yard and we need to get one. And so we'll put his big ass in there and knock somebody out. I ain't scared to put him in there. But I mean, look, like everything else, I mean, we're going to use him situationally, you know. Are you going to see him on 1st and 10? Probably not. You know, if you do, I'm just trying to get a laugh out of you, probably. Are we going to throw it to him a lot? Probably not. You know, he understands his role, as we all should.
Coach Stoops was talking about the maturity he's seen in Drew Barker. What's your first impression of him?
Awesome. I mean, I talked to the kid when I originally got here. You know, everybody understands the background. Everybody understands what happens. I'm glad I'm not judged on what I did at 18 and 19. And so that was my overall theme to him at the beginning, is that I'm not here to sit here and have a preconceived notion about people. You know, I'm here to give people opportunities. And so the kid's a great kid. He's a talented kid. You know, his maturity since I've got here has grown. You know, you put him in those positions more and more, and he's going to get better and better. You know, at every situation, socially, athletically, and everything. And so the kid has grown leaps and bounds like we all did at that age, hopefully. You know, some people in here probably didn't, and I feel sorry for you guys, but you know, everybody's got growing pains, and so, and he's no different than everybody else on the team, and everybody on our coaching staff, and everybody in life, and so his maturity's been awesome.
And you talked about trusting your eyes when you watch a quarterback. Fall camp begins. What are you watching for every day of your guys?
Well, I mean, the one comment about that is I think you gotta understand when I sit in that quarterback room that everybody's comfort level is different. Everybody's eyes might see things slightly different than the other guy. You know, even though we're going through the same progression and we're running the same offense, you know, and I said it this morning on the radio show, I don't want a robot out there. I want your personality to show through. And so even when I sit in the quarterback room, I might look at something on the film and heck, I mean, you can run it back and tell me that guy's open, you know, but in real time, what does it look like in your eyes? You know, we got to make decisions in real time, which is different than, you know, when you see the replay on the Scantron and 60,000 people say, you know, Coach Dawson's an idiot, why didn't you throw it to that guy? Well, yeah, I mean, I get that, but in real time, how does it look to your eyes, you know, pre-snap, post-snap? And so, and I think in a way, it's kind of a soothing mechanism for those guys mentally to just relax and understand that, you know, maybe that throw that kid made is not something that looks appeasing to me. I don't feel comfortable with that. I'm going to go through my progression and get it to this guy, you know. And so I just think that ultimately your job as a quarterback is to distribute the ball, to put the ball in play. And so if you get that done, then you get a plus. You know, it's not this putting in play versus that putting in play. I mean, I don't judge it by that. You know, everybody looks at things a little bit different. And I want you to be an individual out there.
You guys were so excited on signing day about getting a big group of wide receivers, really adding some size, adding some guys that were basically basketball players. How disappointing is it, I guess, to lose one of those guys and not have the 6'6", you know, 210-pound guy make it here?
You know, I mean, it's always a little bit disappointing, but we're going to play with the guys we have.
Shannon, you talked about the personality. Would you like to see of guys at quarterback? Does that go with running back too? And how do you like JoJo Kim's personality?
Yeah, I love his personality. Confident guy. I like confident people overall, you know. Usually confident people are calm and they perform well when things get tight. And so I think we got a bunch of those guys, to be honest with you. And I love JoJo's personality, and what he brings to the game is awesome. His energy is great. That whole running back room, you know, is set up in a way where everybody's got, you know, personality and skill sets that are a little bit different than the next person, which I think is really, really good. And so my job is to put them in an environment, put them in a situation where they can be successful. And so, you know, within the whole blueprint of the offense, all of those guys have to be able to do the same thing, but they'll probably showcase it a little bit different when they're on the field because their skill sets are a little different.
Having honed, you came in and you honed the rough edges off the pass kick, you taught him what you wanted to do and the offense and all that. Can you tell from just scrimmages that you've been in with him, can you tell that he has that acumen that the quarterback needs?
I think we're getting there. You know, I don't think you really know until you get in that real situation. You know, we try to simulate things as coaches at practice. You can't simulate it. I mean, you can't simulate what's going to go on out here, you know, on our first game when it's tight, you know. I think that as coaches we have to prepare them in such a way when they get in those situations, it's just second nature, you know. And I think that's part of the programming process with quarterbacks is just to slow down everything to where it just happens. You know, I mean, we don't stress about it. And look, there's going to be times it doesn't happen. And guess what? My job in those times is to get over it. You know, move on, go to the next play. We're not going to make every play. And so the more we can have short-term memory and move on, good things and bad things. You know, you don't want to have a good thing happen and you sit there and think that, oh, I'm the man now. Well, guess what? You're going to go 3 and out about 4 times in a row, you know. You got to play at an even kill rate, you know. And I think we're getting there. I think we're definitely getting there.
Hi, John, right here.
Shannon, what was your first impression of Boone when you were watching the film from last year when came in this spring and dealt with it the first time?
And then, I mean, a dynamic skill set. You know, the kid can obviously outrun everybody that's on the field on both teams, and so, which is a big plus, you know. All we gotta do is get the ball in his hand when he's outrunning everybody, you know. And so I love his skill set. I love his personality too. He's asking back there about personalities. I mean, Boone brings a lot of good energy to the group. And so again, with running backs, it's really overall with me is to be able to find ways to get them the ball in a lot of different settings. And so Boone is no different. You know, we got to get him the ball a lot of different ways.
All right, thanks, Coach.
I was
Yeah, we
just
need
gonna
to
ask,
stay on.
what's been the biggest difference since you've moved down?
You almost got cut off.
Almost.
What?
Because I'm
What's
like-
been the biggest difference, I guess, from moving from West Virginia to down here, the process-wise, for you?
Geographically on a map or like?
Just day to day, just day to day.
I mean, my life doesn't change much day to day, to be honest with you. I'm at my house with my wife and daughter, and I'm at my office. And I'm at my house with my wife and daughter, and I'm at my office. So, and every now and again, we'll venture out and go eat, which is, to be honest with you, the biggest difference is the town. The town's just a lot bigger and a lot nicer. And so, my mindset's really the same. I just do, you know, I keep it simple, brother. I'm not very smart.
And we'll end on that.